You know how sometimes a single sentence can just completely reframe a huge, complex topic? How one little verse can be the key that unlocks a perspective you just never saw before? Well, that's what we're doing today. We're taking that key to one of the most debated books in the entire Bible, Revelation.
And here it is, Revelation 1, verse 18. Just listen to that tone for a second. It's not a suggestion, it's not a hope, it's a powerful, definitive, in-your-face declaration of victory. But a victory over what? That's the mystery we're going to unpack. So, right off the bat, this brings up a massive question that honestly changes how you read everything that follows. Is this verse a warning, kind of setting the stage for some big, uncertain battle way off in the future? Or is it more like a victory speech, an announcement that the fight has already been won? Let's find out. Okay, so let's get into the weeds here. To really feel the full weight of this statement, we have to break it down piece by piece, clause by clause. Think of it like a detective story, where each part is a clue that builds on the last one.
So our first clue is right there at the beginning. I am he that liveth. Now, on the surface, that seems pretty simple, right? But once you peek at the original Greek, you realize this is a claim that is anything but simple. It is absolutely profound.
So in the original Greek, the phrase is ho zone. And this isn't just someone saying, hey, I'm alive. Not even close. It's a claim to be the living one, the very source and owner of life itself. We're talking about a divine claim to be self-existent, indestructible life. And that leads us straight into this huge paradox. How can the living one, the very source of all life, also be someone who was dead? This is our second and maybe most puzzling clue. The Greek here, egenemen nekros, makes it crystal clear this wasn't some kind of symbolic death. It means I truly became dead. The source material really hammers this home. This was a full-on identification with our mortality, a real historical thing that actually happened. You could say the conqueror first had to walk into the enemy's camp. And now, here it is, the triumphant reversal. From the very depths of death, the speaker declares, "Behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen." This isn't just a comeback. This is the absolute turning point of the whole declaration. Now, the really crucial thing here is the kind of life being talked about. This is not a return to the old way of living. No, this is a brand new, resurrected life that lasts forever and can never, ever be reversed. And that little word amen at the end, it's not just a nice way to wrap things up. It's a seal, a stamp that says this statement is absolute, unchangeable truth, period. All right, and that brings us to the final, and you could say most powerful part of this verse. The ultimate claim of authority, all summed up in this incredible metaphor of the keys. According to our source, having the keys, echo teskles, isn't about having permission to, enter a room. It's about owning the whole building. It means you have complete authority, sovereign power over death itself and over the grave. The keys have officially changed hands. So, we've unpacked the verse. But here's the thing. This massive declaration in Revelation doesn't just show up out of nowhere. Our source shows that it's actually the final knot in this beautiful golden thread that runs all the way through the scriptures, connecting a timeless promise to its ultimate fulfillment. And this just lays out the progression perfectly. It all starts way back in the Old Testament with a promise that one day God would swallow up death. Then we get to the New Testament, which details the action, Christ's death to destroy death's power. After that, the Apostle Paul gives us the explanation. He breaks down how death is swallowed up in victory through the resurrection. And then finally, right here in Revelation, we get the declaration, Christ holding the keys, announcing to the universe that the work is finished. So when we put all these pieces together, what do we get? We finally have the answer to that big question we asked at the beginning. The verdict is in. This right here is the core idea from our source. The victory over death isn't some far-off speculation. It's an accomplished reality. It is a historical fact, not just a distant hope. It's done. Let's put it another way. The authority has been officially transferred. For a long time, death was the warden, holding all of humanity captive. But now, according to this verse, Jesus holds the keys. He's the one in charge now. Okay, so really understanding this victory as a done deal has massive implications. It doesn't just change how we read one little verse. It has the power to change how we see, well, pretty much everything that comes after it.
Well, for starters, it totally reframes the new creation. It's not some future repair job on a broken world, but a direct, present consequence of this victory. It also points to a whole new kind of government, a kingdom run by a king who has already beaten death. And maybe the biggest one of all, it means the entire foundation for a theology built on fear of what might happen, well, it just collapses.
And this slide just draws that line in the sand so clearly. On one side, you have resurrection theology, where the threats are already defeated. That way of thinking breeds confidence, and its focuses on what Christ has already done. But on the other side, you've got this fear-based eschatology, where the threats are still out there, unresolved. And that naturally breeds anxiety and a focus on disaster. Its focus is on what Christ might do. How you interpret Revelation 1:18 really decides which of these paths you're on. And this quote just brings it right down to a personal level. The source puts it so plainly: if death has truly been defeated, if the keys have really changed hands, then fear loses all of its power over you. You can't threaten someone with something that's already lost. So we'll end with this final, really provocative thought. What if the entire lens we use to read the book of Revelation needs to be changed? What if it's not primarily a roadmap of future terror, but actually a declaration of a past, definitive, and eternal victory? A story not about how the world ends, but the story of how death itself already ended.